And Dallas, that's the thing about 2012 and 2018. As we've watched this season unfold, there have been so many comparisons, and a lot of them for good reason. I'll begin with this commonality. The A's went from mediocre in a prior season to very impressive in their next season, those next seasons being 12 and 18 here. Do you agree?
I would agree, Brody. I think when you look at 2012 and how that season unfolded, I myself was on that roster, a payroll bandit, didn't do much to contribute at all, but I was still on that roster. But what that tells you is they got off to that season with probably low to minimal expectations, not really sure, a lot of question marks surrounding more than one area of that club. And then you saw how that season started to unfold, especially during the second half. Things really started to pick up. Individuals started to emerge as far as productive pieces to that puzzle for Bob Melvin, and I think obviously we can all understand Bob Melvin, one of the other more important commonalities of those two clubs.
We'll definitely touch on the skipper in just a second, but yeah, things got really real really fast. And on that note, Stu, another commonality is projections versus reality. I mean, this was an A's team in 12 and 18, both projected to probably only contend for the cellar in the division. That's obviously not what happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like you know, I was explaining earlier. There's one thing that you can't determine before the season starts. I mean, there are a few guys on this baseball team that are young and in their first full season of play. And so it's easy for the ball club to look at these young guys coming in and say that it's going to be a rebuild year.
Right.
But you could not determine the heart, the tenacity, the guts, the ability to adapt to the league as quickly as these young men have. They started out the year not playing the game very well.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we were worried early. But these kids have not made the same mistakes that they did earlier in the league. They've adapted to the league. They've learned who's across the diamond from them. And they become one of the better teams in the league. When it comes to making mistakes, the mistakes are fewer.
Right.
The production is better.
Hey, Dallas, another commonality would have to just be the it factor, right? 2012 was the summer of the burning lean. All the kids were doing it. This year's team, I don't know if it has that same flair, but it definitely has that same confidence as 12 had.
No, I think you're absolutely right, Brody. You think about the veterans on that ball club in 2012, guys like Brandon Inge, guys like Coco Crisp. Those were guys who allowed those young kids to understand we can have fun. This can actually be something that we enjoy, this run we're on. Hey, we're playing with house money. They didn't have anything to worry about at the beginning of the year, and they show up in September balling out of control, and we know how that turns out. So now here you take that same sort of ingredients, that same recipe, all of the veterans that they've added in the bullpen. You bring a guy like Edwin Jackson in to the rotation, and his impact is almost instantaneously felt. So when you have a good mix of young, athletic individuals who are hungry and some veterans who understand what it's actually going to take to get to where you want to be, I think that's what we're experiencing right now.
And Stu, last but not least, the only guy from 12 to 18 is the skipper of this club in the dugout, Bob Melvin, and certainly that's a huge commonality.
In my opinion, that's a great commonality. Both teams that nothing was expected from them, but when you come to the ballpark every day and you've got the confidence, that quiet confidence, the leadership that Bo Mel displays to these young men. This team earlier in the year, the one thing that I always said is they're so young that the one thing you need is you need great leadership.
Yeah.
And he has provided that for this young team. This team has needed exactly what Bo Mel can bring to them, which is the leadership, the positiveness, the ability to teach while these kids are learning how to play the game. And the end result is exactly where we are.
Dallas, I don't think Stu will do it with me, but you want to drop a quick lean? Would you do that?
A quick lean?
Here we go, a little Bernie lean. Oh, I'm doing it. Oh, yeah, arms are like spaghetti. Yeah. All right, take it to commercial break.
I can't lean.
Stu's too stiff.
Come on, Stu.
Appreciate you, Dallas.
That's old age, baby.
Somebody had my, oh, there you go.
Is that
Stu letting it lean here on Pregame Live.